Hey guys and gals, what's up? Clipz Radix here, today bringing you part 1 of what hopefully will be a mini-series of 5 free-to-play games available right now on PSN. Now, you may well have heard of some of these games, but unfortunately that's going to be the nature of the beast. However, we will limit it to one very well known game per list. So if, like us, you want to get your cheap ass some new free games, and you can't be bothered with the download times, because trust me guys, there are some hefty download times with some of these games, so hopefully you'll find it useful enough to stay with us for the journey and we can discover some cool new games together along the way. So with that said, please guys don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure to hit the notification button so that you don't miss any further parts to this series. Without further ado, let's see what's on the list. Right, so number 1 we have Darwin Project, which probably on first glance looks like a bit of a knockoff to Fortnite. However, it has got enough of its own character, enough differences to not fairly be referred to as that. It's another take on the Battle Royale genre, however it does have some differences. For instance, instead of the typical circle of danger closing in the players, we have instead an area made up of separate zones which are one by one closed off by the director, one at a time, until you've finally got one left. There is probably more of a focus on the survival element in the Darwin Project than most other games in the genre. This is implemented with a cold meter, which unless you create fires to stay warm, you'll die from the cold. To make fires you must farm wood, and this wood can only be farmed from certain trees, making it probably more of a challenge than it might sound at first glance. The game also has its fun and quirky elements too. For some reason it decided to put us in a nice flowery leotard all of a sudden, which yeah, that happened. As we say though, resource management is key here, and you can also farm other materials to make different type of items. For instance, your wood will give you a choice between making fires to stay alive or arrows to potentially kill other players. Players are equipped with various means of quickly traversing the map, such as a grappling hook, and items and weapons can be upgraded through farming said materials. Weapons are lacking, I suppose, with only the axe and bow, along with some traps available, so don't expect any or many crazy guns to be shooting other players like you might see in some other games. That's more of a survival element to it, as we say. There are less players than most of the Battle Royales who start the game with only 12 players. This isn't a bad thing though, it works for this game in a way it might not work for others. The game mechanics will feel familiar to most people and the learning curve is a quick one. There seem to be a decent number of players currently playing, users starting games within a couple of minutes of entering the lobby. Overall, we'd recommend you give this a go and see what you think. Though not groundbreaking, we enjoyed it. 6.5 out of 10, 5 being average. Right guys, number 2, we mentioned before we're going to have one big boy every list. This is it for this list. So Fortnite, I'm sure everybody's heard of it. If you haven't, where have you been? How have you not possibly heard of Fortnite? However, some people might not have played it because they get the impression it's a kids game, which there are a lot of kids playing it, but believe me, as an adult myself, there is definitely something out there for us as well. It's quite exciting. There's loads to unlock, and loads of different guns, weapons. This is the original Battle Royale. Well, it feels like the original Battle Royale. There's probably a few before it, but this was the first big scale Battle Royale. It's been influenced on many other games. It's made by Epic Games from Gears of War fame. The premise, if you don't know, it's 100 players dropped onto an island to duke it out until only one player/team survives. There's building, looting, fighting, with a lot more in between. Despite the look and reputation of the game, the learning curve is actually quite steep if you want to challenge the better players. The reason? Well, building of course. Yeah, these kids will build around you so quickly you don't even know what's going on. You'll have no idea what's happening until you're dead. Oh, and you will be dead. They don't miss much either. That being said, skill-based matchmaking is a thing, so you shouldn't meet guys like that until you're ready to compete. The player base is still huge, and the wait time for games are almost non-existent. We'd say ignore the naysayers and give it a go. If you're the one remaining person left who hasn't played it already, it is good fun. We give it a 7 out of 10. Okay, so next up we have something a little bit different. Crossout. Now this is a post-apocalyptic battle royale with vehicles. Think Mad Max. Now if you've played Mad Max, think with the vehicle building, I suppose it bears some similarities to that. If you've not played Mad Max, then why not? Seriously, it's awesome. Get out there and play it. However, I digress. Now I recommend Crossout with one major caveat. When we were playing it, there were some lag issues which did kind of ruin the fun. That said, I mean, you can build some serious monstrosities. It gives you a lot of customization when building vehicles, and that unlocks more as you progress through the game. Also, the battle royale style fighting is enjoyable. As I say, if you mind, it could just be because I play on EU servers. Perhaps the North American servers, different servers, are actually a lot better. So I'd say give it a try out. The idea behind this one is you are a survivor in a dystopian future, think, as we said before, Mad Max, where you get taken in, so to speak, and you then have the ability to build a car, build a vehicle, an armoured vehicle, to go out and fight other armoured vehicles. But yeah, it's quite fun, and it's certainly different, free to play than most of the games out there. Not too sure about player numbers, to be completely honest. We did get games quickly, so the numbers could be there. However, on an 8v8 battle, it was always 4 bots on both teams with 4 human players on both teams. But as we say, we did get games pretty quick. So yeah, overall it'd be, with the current lag, I'd say 4 out of 10, without up to a 7 out of 10. So yeah, recommend cautiously. Number 4, Paladins. Now, we love Paladins here at Clipz. It's an aesthetically pleasing 5v5 PvP battle made by Ires, who you might know from Smite, which is obviously a very popular game if you follow these types of games. Champions come in different classes. You've got frontline, damage, healer and flank, who each bring their own qualities and weakness to the table. It's quite a tactical battle. Not as much as your MMO, so like League of Legends and Smite and things like that, but certainly more than your average battle kind of thing. Battle modes include the usual suspects such as Team Deathmatch, but it does have a nice inclusion of a mode known as Siege, where you must first capture the middle point of the map, then escort the resulting cart to the enemy circle. A point is rewarded for a capture, a push or a defend, with the match ending after the first push or defend is completed. Where the first team reaches 4 points, the match is over. Interesting to note is that you can upgrade skills with the credits you earn during the round, and these really can make a difference. There have been several times where we've either won or lost the first round easily, only to have the game completely reversed after the characters level up. For example, one such upgrade is something known as Cauterize. When upgraded, you reduce the enemy healing when you damage them. This can essentially turn a really powerful healer into nothing more than a mild irritant and flip the game on its head. So you might get the first round where no matter what you do, you can't seem to kill a player because he's being healed so powerfully, but as soon as you start upgrading Cauterize, that becomes less and less of an issue. Maps are typically well balanced, as are the characters, although with any similar game it's a fine line and there are exceptions to the rule, and you find some champions who need low skill to deal high damage being abused. Decent player though can often work past this, sometimes at ease to be honest. One annoyance is the matchmaking. One team is often much stronger than the other. Not always though, and when you do get teams of similar skill, the game can be truly exhilarating. It does annoy though when on the losing end of a spanking. If fast twitch shooters aren't your thing, then give this a go. Some of the champions rely on tactics and positioning above anything else. There are more typical run and gun characters, but unlike other games the variation is vast and they aren't the norm in this particular game. So guys, do check this game out. There's a lot of players playing it still, been around now for 3 years I think, and it is not as popular on like Fortnite or COD Warzone levels, but it is a popular game, so do come and play it guys, it's a lot of fun. We'll give it a very high 8 out of 10, excellent game. Finally, to round off part 1 is Warface. So, do you love the idea of COD Modern Warfare, but perhaps you're finding it too fast, you keep dying? Well, maybe give Warface a go. Our first impression of this game, which to be honest didn't change too much, is that Warface feels a bit like a training wheels COD. That might be harsh, people might be hating me with Warface fanatics. It's just how it felt guys on my first few hours playing the game. It looks and feels similar, though it is easier to pick up and easier to stay alive. It isn't as good as the latest COD, which to be fair the game did come out in 2013 I believe, but it is less stressful and a decent game in its own right. Personally, I'd stay away from the Battle Royale though. If you're used to more modern versions, you'll likely find this to be bland and empty. There are occasional weapons to be found amongst the brown and greys, but seriously we spent the first 5 minutes wandering around without finding a single thing, literally just wandering around with my knife swinging it in the air, couldn't get in any doors, couldn't find anything to pick up. Traditional multiplayer is where any enjoyment is to be found in Warface if you ask us. A random but nevertheless annoying feature is that for some reason there's often no indication that you're being shot until you're dead. No damage indication, no noise from the enemy shots, just alive, then dead. Yeah. On the flip side though, it is quite satisfying to kill other players. You can see how much damage you're doing clearly, and it tells you your kill streak clearly in the centre screen when you get a kill. In all honesty, if you're happy with Modern Warfare or other similar recent games, then there's probably not much you're going to get from Warface. However, as mentioned earlier, if you like a shooter which is a little bit more slow paced and more forgiving, then there is fun to be had with Warface. The game does deserve credit though for being such an old game and yet still being able to hold its own and find some enjoyment out there. Also the player numbers are surprisingly still quite high. We didn't wait too long for games at all. Within a couple of minutes we were playing new games consistently. So yeah, 6 and squeeze and a half out, give it 6.5 out of 10. Fun to be had. So there we have it guys, the first 5 free-to-play games you might want to try if you haven't already. All these games are available and free on the PlayStation Network. I do believe some of them are also Xbox and PC as well. Our top pick overall would have to be Paladins. We really enjoy it, but each game listed has the potential to give you fun-filled hours if they're the type of game that you enjoy. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed the first part. Part 2 will hopefully be along shortly if we do receive any form of positive feedback, and we'll make sure we get a long list of games going which we'll download, spend the time downloading and testing so that you guys don't have to do. So please do like and subscribe if the video helped. So thank you very much guys, hope you enjoyed, peace out, don't forget, keep being pro.